Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. First of all, let's all take a moment of silence for E3 because, as of this week, it is officially dead. Rest in peace, sweet prince. It was a long time coming. In other news, we've got everything you need to know about the troubled launch of IGN's first 1 out of 10 reviewed game in a decade, a possible reason why GTA 6 isn't coming to PC at launch, the ongoing saga of the Florida Joker versus GTA 6, Kojima's next project on Disney+, and a whole lot more. It's been a busy week for news, so let's just get to it.
Now, there's a really valid reason as to why we don't see day-and-date releases of games from Rockstar on PC, and the main reason is, well, Rockstar wants to make sure it optimizes its games to their fullest capacity before porting it over to PC hardware. Now, that might seem like an obvious reason, but it's actually deeper than that. Now, ex-Rockstar Games employee Mike York took to his YouTube channel to delve into the reasons why Rockstar and Take-Two handle its PC ports the way it does. Check it out.
One of the main reasons why a PC port will take so long to come out after a console release is because the developers want to make it as best as possible, and they have to work out all these little bugs that they haven't been kind of working on and putting to the side and they haven't seen yet, right? Because one of the main things I want to touch on is that the reason why a PC port comes later and not like the first thing that comes out is because they want to prioritize what sells, right? Most of the time, especially in the past, PlayStation was like the big seller, right? PlayStation was like the console to have. It sold more copies than any other console for the most part. Everybody's playing PlayStation. So what the developer would do is they would focus all their energy on making sure the PlayStation port and the PlayStation game worked really good.
So PlayStation consoles are the studio's primary focus due to its high demand, and it focuses on pushing the hardware to the max. Now, the Xbox benefits from having similar technology as a console, so it's worked on in parallel with the PlayStation build. That really makes sense when you think about it, how varied PC builds can be, which will undoubtedly require much more resources from the devs to make sure the games are playable and fully optimized across all PC generations a gamer might be using. So, according to Mike York, Rockstar tends to focus on the PC build later on, as it'll take them longer to configure and optimize. Now, GTA 5 was released on the PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2013, then finally found its way on PC 2 years later in 2015. Now, it was definitely a shorter release window for Red Dead Redemption 2, as it hit PC just a year after releasing on consoles in 2018. Plus, the modding community on PC is freaking insane, so it's also likely Rockstar would love to just hold off on a PC release for a while to, give the game some breathing room on consoles. Now, Mike York also confirmed that what we saw in the GTA 6 trailer will be exactly what we get when the game launches in 2025.
When you play this game, it's really going to look like this. It's going to look just like this. It's going to be incredible. Cannot wait. Because the artists over there really know how to push the consoles and the hardware to the limits with their level of detail, their LODs and all their different stuff. Like, this is just a normal character, it looks like, that's in the game, an NPC or whatever. But look how realistic they look now.
Now, honestly, 2025 can't come soon enough. Now, what are your thoughts on a PC release for GTA 6? Now, are you gonna wait for that particular launch, or are you just gonna grab it day one when it drops on consoles? Of course you are. But let us know in the comments down below.
The Entertainment Software Association, or ESA, has announced the end of E3 for good 28 years after the first event took place. In a statement shared on Twitter and with the Washington Post, the ESA said it had decided to end the Electronic Entertainment Expo after nearly 3 decades. The statement reads, after more than 2 decades of serving as a central showcase for the video game industry, ESA has decided to end E3. ESA remains focused on advocating for ESA member companies and the industry workforce who fuel positive cultural and economic impact every day. In March, IGN reported that almost a year after announcing its return, the ESA had canceled this year's E3. At the time, the ESA said the 2023 version, quote, simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. It did not mention undertaking the show again in the future. This year's event was supposed to be held from June 13th to 16th at the Los Angeles Convention Center, the show's home for many years, and would have been the first in-person E3 since 2019. E3 2020 was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and while a digital version was held in 2021, E3 was canceled again in 2022 in an effort to focus on a revitalized showcase that would set a new standard for hybrid industry events. We now know this will never happen. E3 began life in 1995 when the gaming industry spun off from CES. It became synonymous with big video game announcements at flashy press conferences. Historically, the likes of Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, not to mention Capcom, Sega, Ubisoft, Bethesda, etc., would show up to E3 with on-stage reveals that would send shockwaves throughout the gaming industry. From Shigeru Miyamoto appearing with a Hylian shield and Master Sword during Nintendo's 2004 press conference to reveal Zelda Twilight Princess, to Sony's generation-defining PS4 game sharing announcement, E3 is remembered for bombastic video game spectacle. However, in recent years, more and more video game companies walked away from E3 to do their own thing, even before the pandemic. Nintendo and Sony now use digital events such as Nintendo Direct and State of Play to announce most of their new products, leaving Microsoft one of the few video game companies that remains committed to announcements at physical events. Now, a lot has been said about the demise of E3 over the years, so I guess let's do this one last time. This sucks. E3 used to be the most exciting time of year for gamers, an entire week's worth of announcements and reveals, companies trying to outdo each other with their presentations, and hands-on impressions of upcoming games from the media outlets and personalities you trust. What we have now, scattered individual online presentations throughout the year, and then the Game Awards, it doesn't come close to replacing the energy and the amount of information that E3 provided. And don't forget, having media on the show floor getting to actually play these games allowed you to get honest impressions. Now the narrative is completely controlled by the big publishers, and you're only going to hear what they want you to hear. Anyway, while today's announcement makes it official, E3 has effectively been dead for years now, and I, someone who has worked in this industry for almost 18 years and looked forward to E3 every year since its inception in 1995, will always mourn that.
The Florida Joker man ain't having it with Rockstar Games supposedly using his likeness in GTA 6. Now, he pulled up on TikTok and had this to say.
You might have seen that character on GTA 6, just dropped the trailer today. You know they got that character with the face tattoos. You know who they got that inspired by? By me. Just look me up. Florida Joker, Miami Joker. You know what I'm talking about. GTA, we at the top.
If you don't know what he's referring to, he's talking about this scene from the GTA 6 trailer where there's a guy being shown with clown/Joker-esque face tattoos, presumably parodying this Lawrence Sullivan guy's actual court appearance and infamous mugshot that went viral back in 2017. He was arrested back then for roaring out of Miami on a concealed carry charge. Now, he mentions in the TikTok video how Rockstar must have been inspired by him. Yeah, they were. You and countless juggalos who paint their faces to look like clowns. But you, sir, you were inspired by DC Comics. Like, you might want to let this one slide, as you're being immortalized in probably the biggest game slated to come out in 2025. Like, what do you want to accomplish with this anyway, calling Rockstar out? Like, you want to cease and desist of using your likeness? I mean, legally, they can't even do that because you've got so much trademark material on your face, Rockstar would probably get flagged by Warner Brothers if they kept it photo accurate. Like, side note, this guy took his hatred of Batman too far. Like, he literally has a tattoo on his forehead calling Batman out with a dagger being stabbed through the Batman logo. Like, someone might want to tell this guy Batman's a fictional character. Like, I get getting tattoos based on fictional stuff you love, but getting tattoos like you're also a fictional Batman villain is taking it a bit too far. If you're not careful, my guy, you're gonna wind up on DC Comics' radar, who I'm sure owns several copyrights to the Joker's likeness, and they might end up trying to confiscate your face. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen that movie Face Off? You've seen it, right? The one with Nicolas Cage? You don't want to end up on Dr. Miami's gurney with a scalpel to your face, having you look exactly like the Joker did in Batman Volume 3, Death of the Family. You know, the one where he had his frickin' face cut off and then decided to wear it like a mask, like the sick clown prince of crime he is. Anyways, turnaround is fair play. You were inspired by DC's Joker looking like Jared Leto's Joker gave birth to Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, there's a lot of jokes to be made here. Now, it should be all right, with a few tweaks here and there for Rockstar Games to be inspired by your viral moment from 2017. Ultimately, it's a compliment to your commitment to the Batman bit. It takes a lot of courage to do what you did to your face, and this is acknowledgement from one of the best video game developers in the industry. Like, hopefully we don't see Florida Joker Man file a cease and desist similar to what Pinkerton Consulting and Investigations Agency, that agency did to Rockstar over its use of the Pinkertons in Red Dead Redemption 2. Or even when Lindsay Lohan, the actress, tried to sue Take-Two over that image of the woman in the bikini from those GTA 5 promos in which he claimed used her likeness. That particular case was dismissed. Now, while we did reach out to Florida Joker Man for comment, hopefully we don't see or hear from him ever again, or at least until GTA 6 comes out. Honestly, I'd definitely take a Let's Play from him. Also, if you're watching this, Miami, Florida Joker Man, this is all in good fun, all right? So look, just roll with the punches. I'll see you in Vice City. Now, in more GTA 6 news, that dude from Florida with all the Joker face tattoos, this guy here, is continuing his beef with GTA. Not Rockstar, the actual game. Now, after dyeing his hair purple so that he'd look even more like the tatted character in the GTA 6 trailer, he now is demanding $2 million. Take a look.
You know what's going on, making worldwide news, killing the news for the last couple days. GTA, I'm giving you the biggest free marketing you got entire history of running this GTA game. For that, I want an extra $1 million. Y'all taking forever to respond back to me. You see that? Find another character. Find another person in Florida they betrayed that character from. I'll wait. I will wait. GTA, we got to talk. You think I'm playing? You got 3 days. 3 days before my lawyers go crazy on this case. This is not like the Lindsay Lohan case. This is not like the Lindsay Lohan case. I got hard evidence. Hard evidence.
Now, he's obviously trolling and riding high off this clout that he's getting on TikTok. I mean, look, we're talking about it here on a freaking news segment on IGN. Now, he definitely has no lawyers that'll take this case, nor does he have a copyright for any of those DC Comics Joker tattoos all over his face. But hey, all the best on chasing that fictional bag. I'm sure Rockstar will gladly give you $2 million in GTA Online bucks at least. Marvel Spider-Man 2 seemed like it was primed to take home some trophies from the Game Awards, but surprisingly, Insomniac's critically acclaimed sequel took home nothing. Now, out of 7 nominations, our friendly neighborhood spider couldn't do whatever a spider can to win, being outdone by some of the other popular games in each category it was in. The Spider-Man 2 fans aren't happy about this, as the PlayStation exclusive had major hype behind it leading up to its release. Now, web heads around the nation are fuming, whipping up tweets like, "You guys deserved at least 1 W though. Y'all was robbed of everything." This one's really funny, saying, "Spider-Man 2 with every nomination." And how about Melon RBX, who's never even heard of Game of the Year winner Baldur's Gate 3? Now, according to them, it sounds like Baldur the Brave. Now, Baldur the Brave is a Marvel character who'd likely fit into the whole Baldur's Gate fantasy world, but I think since we're talking about Marvel, our webheads got gutted and deserved something more. Some more acknowledgement. But my spidey sense was tingling, warning me that something like this would happen. Anyway, you still got to give it up to the team over at Insomniac for its response to striking out at this year's Game Awards. Quote, "A major thank you to everyone who nominated Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in several categories at the Game Awards this year. It's an honor to have had your support. Congrats to all the winners and nominees. You all deserve it. And who knows, maybe Wolverine will be its saving grace when it releases sometime in the future." In other news, check out this very slick limited edition PlayStation 5 inspired by the OG PS1's colorway. But before you ask where to pre-order, this isn't for sale or for you. Yeah, that's right. Outgoing PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan received this console at his farewell party, and you best believe it's a one-of-a-kind console for one of PlayStation's most valued players in the gaming industry. I gotta say, I love the palettes of the light and dark grays throughout the console, with the DualSense emulating the classic PS1 DualShock analog controller all the way down to the retro plug on the USB-C cable. So lucky he got that special edition PS5, but maybe this is a prototype. The PlayStation will be celebrating its 30th anniversary in 2024, so maybe we'll all be able to get our hands on a PS1-inspired PS5 sometime next year. Now, the PS4 got a similar limited edition version to celebrate the 20th anniversary back in 2014. We'll have to wait and see.
Come on, Sony. A PS1 edition of the PlayStation 5 would print money. Oh well. Until that happens, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a ton of news to cover, such as the troubled launch and release of the day before, Kojima's next project on Disney+, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Of all the big Hideo Kojima announcements and surprises this year, a Disney Plus exclusive probably wasn't on anyone's bingo card. We've got everything you want to know about that, but first, let's take a look at the saga of the game that earned itself IGN's first 1 out of 10 in a decade. Take it away.
It's been a long and bumpy road leading up to the release of the day before. The open-world post-apocalyptic MMO was at one point the most wish-listed game on Steam, following an impressive early reveal. But gradually, the hype turned into skepticism, wondering if developer Fantastic would deliver or could deliver on its ambitious vision. Well, we finally have an answer. No. Come on now, y'all knew the answer was gonna be no. Jeez, give me a break. Anyways, less than a week since the game launched into early access, the studio has announced it will be shutting down and doesn't have the necessary funding to continue its support. Now, the day before had over 38,000 concurrent players when it launched on December 7th, the same day as the Game Awards, and as of this video, that player base has dropped below 4,000. Now, from the looks of things, a lot of folks who were playing have been keeping busy leaving negative Steam reviews instead, and the day before is already one of the top 10 worst reviewed Steam games of all time. Now, in a statement posted on X, formerly Twitter, y'all know that place. Anyways, Fantastic wrote, quote, "The day before has failed financially and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners." Now, the statement goes on to say the team really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential, but can't afford to do so. The servers will stay online for the foreseeable future, but they're plagued with issues as is, and the game itself is a buggy, broken mess that doesn't begin to resemble the experience that got players excited in the first place. A Fantastic statement claims, quote, "We didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game," which is all very touching, but it still costs each player $39 to get into early access. If you listen really carefully, you can hear the sound of tens of thousands of players demanding refunds. Now, something tells me we haven't heard the end of this story. And what do y'all think of all of this? Now, I had a sneaking suspicion that this game might not deliver, but did not expect the developer to close up shop so soon.
And finally today, speaking to Axios, Disney's head of gaming Sean Shoptaw explained why the company was happy to allow the upcoming Indiana Jones game to be an Xbox console exclusive. Shoptaw insisted, with Xbox still being one of the bigger marketplaces for games, we didn't feel like we were going to be overly exclusionary. We felt like it's still going to reach a broad set of folks, and we felt financially and strategically for the game, that made sense at the time. Now, during the high-profile trial between Xbox and the FTC, Bethesda's Pete Hines revealed that Disney had an agreement with Bethesda owner ZeniMax for a multi-platform AAA Indiana Jones game. But after Microsoft bought the company, the agreement with Disney was amended to transition the Indiana Jones game to an Xbox and PC exclusive. Several emails and conversations shown during the trial added color to the decision to make Indiana Jones a platform exclusive. Hines said he was told by Spencer in a call that Bethesda should continue to look at title exclusivity on a case-by-case basis. A subsequent court document revealed how Microsoft believed it could use Game Pass and console sales to help offset the losses it would incur from making Indiana Jones and the recently released Starfield Xbox console exclusives. This is all relevant to the Blade game that was just revealed last week. It's being developed by Arcane, which is a Bethesda studio, but the reveal trailer did not mention Xbox at all. So it is currently unclear whether or not this game, by an Xbox studio, will be an Xbox console exclusive, or if it will also come to PlayStation. It's a weird situation.
And finally, on a considerably lighter note, while working on Tears of the Kingdom, producer Eiji Aonuma wasn't too hung up on the idea that the Legend of Zelda games need to be connected by any official timeline. Speaking to us here at IGN, Aonuma said, quote, "We have these major players in each game with Zelda and Ganon and Link, and they each surface and play their roles in potentially slightly different ways in each title. But personally, I don't like to put too much stock in the chronology of the series because from the design perspective, that can kind of box us in and limit where we're able to take the story as we continue making games in the series. And so, I do think it's something that is best for people to interpret on their own." Hyrule Historia, an official Nintendo-approved book of Zelda lore, was published in 2011, which revealed a branching timeline which begins with Skyward Sword and splits into 3 alternative timelines following Ocarina of Time. Creating a Champion, another book published in 2017, suggests that everything that happened prior to Breath of the Wild has faded to myth. Now, between that and Aonuma's stance, maybe it's best to treat the Zelda games less like George R.R. Martin books and more like fairy tales or mythology.
Last night at the Game Awards, Anthony Mackie announced that Peacock's live-action Twisted Metal series is officially getting a second season. Mackie was on stage to reveal the winner for Best Ongoing Game when he dropped the show's renewal. Mackie teased the crowd with, "Now, no one knows this yet, so you 3 guys and everyone else are going to be the first ones. Because of our incredible fans, Twisted Metal is coming back for Season 2 on Peacock. So, everybody get your motor revving because you're going on another ride with John Doe." Twisted Metal released on Peacock this year in July, and even though it had some mixed reviews from fans of the original PlayStation franchise, the TV series was a success for Peacock. NBC Universal revealed in early August that Twisted Metal was one of the most popular original shows on the streaming service. NBC Universal specified that the average Peacock subscriber watched roughly 3 episodes in a single setting, while others binged all 10 episodes in one viewing. In a press release, showrunner Michael Jonathan Smith wrote, "I have to give a sweet tooth-sized thank you to our incredible fans. I read every comment and was so blown away by everyone's love, support, and rabid enthusiasm for a paper bag. We are beyond thankful we get to continue the story of John Doe, Quiet, and Sweet Tooth as they face off against familiar faces and grim new foes in the long-awaited Twisted Metal tournament. The mixtape is made, and I'm thrilled to get back on the road with our stellar cast and crew." No release date for Season 2 was announced yet, but I am so happy for Twisted Metal fans getting more episodes. Hideo Kojima posted on X that his documentary film Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds will be releasing on Disney Plus early next year after its world premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York way back in June. The documentary focuses around Kojima's creative process as a video game designer. According to a blurb on Kojima Productions' website, the documentary explores, quote, "the power and potential of video games as an art form through the work of an influential talent." In his post, Kojima specified that the documentary film was directed and photographed by Glenn Milner and will include appearances from George Miller, Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, Nicholas Winding Refn, Grimes, Woodkid, Churches, Mamoru Oshii, Shinji Mikami, and Shinya Tsukamoto. Though maybe we'll get some other surprise appearances. In the trailer for the film, Norman Reedus said working with Kojima is like stepping into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Ironically, Timothée Chalamet, who plays Wonka in the new movie, recently posted photos from his visit to Kojima's studio. And you know what? The whole thing just seems a little wonky to me. Anyways, last night, Kojima revealed a trailer for a new horror game/movie experience called Overdose in partnership with Xbox Game Studios and Jordan Peele. And also, Death Stranding has a sequel and feature film in the works. Kojima fans are eating good right now. Speaking of award shows, the Oscars are coming up, and one of this year's biggest films is not getting a nomination for its visual effects. As reported by Variety, 20 films have been selected for VFX Oscar consideration, and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer was not one of them. The 20 films selected are now moving forward to the next round of voting through December 14th to the 18th. Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Barbie, and Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire are among some of the finalists to make the short list. People took to X to air their grievances with Oppenheimer being robbed of the nomination. User Carlos Alonso M said, "Indiana Jones 5 making the VFX shortlist over Oppenheimer is so funny. They did not watch the movie." Another X user, Danimalish, posted, "No Oppenheimer for best visual effects? How is this not some of the finest visual effects of the year?" Christopher Nolan's filmography has a pretty awesome track record for visual effects. The director favors doing things practically to a sometimes impractical degree. He blew up an actual jumbo jet for a scene in Tenet, sunk an IMAX camera to the bottom of the ocean to get a plane crash shot for Dunkirk, and grew an entire cornfield to drive through in Interstellar. Oppenheimer had some cool visuals, but despite the subject matter, it was more focused on people sitting in rooms talking than it was about explosive moments. Either way, we were huge fans of Oppenheimer and we gave it a 10 out of 10, calling it a full tilt biopic that presents a disturbing, mesmerizing vision of what humanity is capable of bringing upon itself. Deadpool 3 is shaping up to be one of the biggest Marvel movies in a long time, in addition to being the return of the fan favorite Merc with a mouth. It's also the return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and the first proper introduction of X-Men into the MCU. Obviously, everyone wants to know as much about it as soon as possible, but Ryan Reynolds has politely asked fans to stop sharing leaked set photos since they might ruin some of the fun of the finished product. In a video posted on his Instagram, the actor explained, "Surprises are part of the magic of theatrical movies. It is important for us to shoot the new Deadpool film in real, natural environments, using practical effects as opposed to making the movie indoors and digitally." Compared to a lot of MCU movies, which might have been shot on sound stages and digital backlots, this leaves Deadpool 3 a lot more exposed. Reynolds added telephoto lenses continue to spoil surprises and create a difficult situation for everyone. The film is built for audience joy, and our highest hope is to preserve as much of that magic as possible for the finished film and the big screen. Part of the reason people post spoilers is because they're excited. I realize these aren't real-world issues and it's firmly in the good problems bucket. I love making this movie. Here at IGN, we generally don't post leaked images or footage acquired by illicit means, but we do occasionally report on it surfacing online since our audience tends to want to know about these things. As much as we all want to know more about what's in store for Deadpool 3, it's understandable where Ryan's coming from. Maybe some of those nosy paparazzi will have a change of heart. One can hope. In any case, Deadpool 3 is slated to hit theaters July 26th of this next year, so we might see an official teaser pretty soon, maybe during the Super Bowl. That's too obvious. It'd be way more of a Deadpool move to crush the Oscars. Stranger things have happened. I'm Stella Chung, and that was your Weekly Fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news. See you then!